Hello, and thanks for tuning in to My Community, brought to you by the Library Television Network. My guest today is the magnificent Millie Snyder. For Millie, healthy living isn't just something she does. It is a way of life. For more than 56 years, Millie owned Weight Watchers, the Weight Watchers franchise in West Virginia. When she sold it back to the national organization, she knew she wasn't done helping people. It was in her blood. After taking a few years off, she decided to create Fix It With Foods to further that goal. Millie also owns and operates the Shape Shop to give people a chance to eat healthy food. Her lean and luscious cookbooks have hundreds of recipes to choose from that are both healthy and they taste great. Millie, it is so good to see you. Welcome to My Community.
Thank you so much for having me as your guest. I appreciate it.
And you know, when I said the magnificent Millie, you are magnificent.
Thank you.
I want to tell you, I have, every time I mention your name to friends and to people that I don't even know that well, they always have something so pleasant to say about you because you have helped thousands of people live a healthy life with their eating style.
Well, it's been a joy of my life because I grew up with a lot of pain and deprivation as far as kindness and understanding. Name calling never helps the situation, but that never gave me support. And I have often shared this story. My older sister dragged me, literally, to my first bariatric doctor when I was 11 years old, and I was given diet pills. 49 diet pills a week. And as long as you had diet pills to curb your desire, which has to do with your serotonin levels, and I didn't know that stuff when I was 11, but I was taking these diet pills and losing weight, and my sister was paying for it. Well, when she didn't have money, we didn't go back and get a new supply of diet pills, and without the diet pills, the weight that I lost quickly found its way back into my life. So my ability to understand and be compassionate is because of the lack of my having it, and I knew that there had to be a better way. Because when you share honesty and true compassion, and I don't want to use that word too often, but understanding and a love for another person's problems. No one wakes up in the morning and says, oh, I think I'll be fat today.
No.
That's not the way it happens. It's a lifestyle, and it's learned from your mother and your grandmother, and it goes on and on. And nobody really realizes that we're causing harm to ourselves until a doctor points it out, or there's a heart attack, or God forbid, there's the onset of diabetes, and we know that we have to change the way that we eat. But how do we do that? And there are so many bad things out there that people do. Diet pills are here to stay. There's diet medication out there right now. It's available through injectable apparatuses. They're reducing the cost because they're now giving people the little bottle where they can fix their own syringe, and that's bringing down the cost. But the drug itself doesn't have a proven track record, and I think all of us just need to hide and watch, but not take it if you have some good information, because it doesn't have a proven track record. People want to lose weight, people want to be thin, but there's a better way to do it, and that is to change your mind about your eating habits. And that's what I want to focus on.
So it's behavior modification.
Absolutely.
And behavior, we all like to eat. We you know, food is the centerpiece of gatherings, it's the centerpiece of everything in our life. We can't get away from it, and we need to eat.
Whenever there's a gathering, where do people gather? In the kitchen.
In the kitchen.
And then they have to go someplace else and sit down if there's a lot of people. But yes, we're all cut from that same cloth.
So if you were able to, and I'm sure you've thought about this, when you look back over the 56 years plus that you've been helping people, and many of those years with Weight Watchers.
Yes.
Just think of the thousands, and I'm serious, the thousands of people who have come to Millie Snyder or to a meeting that you're connected with some way.
Right.
That has to be, I don't know how you, measure that. And if you can really measure the impact that you've had over these years. But it's been a blessing to so many people to help make them healthy.
I think about that lady in Parsons. Her first name was Rose, and she lost 350 pounds following the Weight Watchers program. And prior to that happening, she lived in a chair, and that's all she could do. And people brought her food to eat, and out of kindness, they brought her food to eat. Well, the way that we were able to get Weight Watchers in Parsons, which is probably about that big, was there was a Weight Watchers leader who lived nearby, and some of the people in the community found other people who were interested. So magically, a Weight Watchers class, a small Weight Watchers class became available, and Rose was able to go to it. But when I say go to it, it was very close, because for her to get up and walk was a major problem.
I'm sure.
But little by little, by doing the program, the chair got a little bigger because she got a little smaller. And I remember going to Parsons to honor her, and the whole community came out, even from some neighboring communities, and a 350-pound weight loss. I don't even know how many people can get that in their head.
No.
And I said to her, you know, Rose, I should have brought you a rose for every pound that you lost, but I would have had to bring them in an 18-wheeler. But what a joy it was to help someone, and not me as the leader, but the person who ran that meeting came through me, because the concept was you've got to share it with other people, and the person who ran that meeting took that training, but she herself was a Weight Watchers member in another location. And that's how Weight Watchers was able to grow. And West Virginia is a rural state.
Right.
So under different administration, they would expect people to all drive into Clarksburg or into Morgantown or into Charleston. But we went to the people in the communities. The word here for the community news is so appropriate.
Sure.
You have to go to where the people need help. And that's what we did.
And, you know, when you're mentioning that, so Weight Watchers is different now. It doesn't exist at all like it once did. But when you decided to sell Weight Watchers back to the organization,
Yes.
you weren't finished.
No,
You
I wasn't
knew that-
finished because I love people.
You do.
And I have such a good time with them. There's a lot of laughing and a lot of joy in just sharing experiences. And I've always told the truth. And when you tell the truth, then you don't have to worry about anything. And I have to tell you, Fred, that I actually grew up in West Virginia. I mean, I arrived here when I was 27 years old.
Right.
And there are some people at that age, they may be 27, but they're not grown. But I grew up here, and I've learned so much about life. And I learned that from the members who came to the meetings week in, week out, year in year over year.
They became your family.
Absolutely.
In so many ways. But when you sold Weight Watchers back to the organization,
Yes.
and you decided, you know, I'm going to do something else.
I missed my members more than I think I missed my members more than I missed my dog.
Yeah.
And I loved my dog, I have to tell you. And so when I was ready to do it again, I thought that the best way to do it would be to find the healthiest way, and that is the Mediterranean lifestyle. People have been living the Mediterranean way of eating for centuries, and there's about approximately 122 million people in that part of the world. And if you look at the statistics, they live to an old age, they take minimal medication, if any at all, but they eat the Mediterranean style, which is healthy, clean food with no preservatives, no additives. Nothing is processed. And I actually believe that that's the way Jesus ate. I mean, what supermarket did he go to?
Well, that's true. And when you say food is not processed, how does the Mediterranean diet or the Mediterranean lifestyle
Yes.
differ from what Weight Watchers did?
Well, Weight Watchers, as good as the group support was, the foods that we bought were processed. The frozen dinners were processed. The products that we bought had chemicals in them to preserve shelf life.
Sure.
Not just dry shelf life, but also shelf life in the freezer. And preservatives do that to all the foods that we eat. It might be easy to buy a TV dinner,
Right.
and then you just have to put it in the microwave or in the oven, and you're ready to sit down, and there's no prep. But you're eating food that has chemicals in it, and that's not good for the body, and that's been proven over time. So many of us are aware of other companies that have been using preservatives in food.
Mm-hmm.
And the end of that story is not a pretty one. So we need to rely on fresh, clean, unadulterated foods.
So give me an example
Yes.
on the Mediterranean lifestyle. And I'm going to make a confession right here. I'm trying to do that myself, and I feel better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I look any better, but I feel better, and that's the important thing. And I feel that I'm treating my whole body in a better way.
You are.
But let's explain. What does it mean if I'm eating a Mediterranean style breakfast? What would that consist of?
Well, let's think what you could have. Fresh fruit, a bread of your choice, but it's not just any old bread. I would like it to be 100% whole wheat, plus another choice would be all whole grains that you toast. And when you eat that piece of bread, it's going to fill you and satisfy you and keep you from being hungry for hours. And then you could have an egg omelet. You might want to have cottage cheese. You might want to do something creative and take the egg and the cottage cheese and mix them together and
never thought
do
about
some
that.
kind of an omelet. And then you could cut up some most delicious ripe tomato and either put that down first and then put the omelet on top of that tomato. And whatever you're going to drink, please don't make it orange juice from the store, because 50% of that orange juice is sugar.
Sugar, yeah.
And your coffee, a nice glass of water just to have there, drink it later. And don't do things that have chemicals in it. Even the diet sodas that are 0 calories, they have ingredients that are not good for the body. So that's just a breakfast.
Okay.
But I could give you so many meals. And I wrote a Mediterranean cookbook. There are a ton, literally, of the different cookbooks that have great Mediterranean recipes. But you'll see that they call for olive oil instead of butter. We don't use peanut oil. We don't use vegetable oil. We use olive oil because it's almost like an elixir for the arteries. We can avoid blockages in our heart if we eat clean. Remember, we are what we eat. Put in bad, it's going to do some bad stuff inside your body. It's kind of like, remember that term with computers, garbage in, garbage out.
Right.
And that's the same with the way we treat our bodies. Sadly, in our universe, people are looking for a quick fix. They want to, admit that they need to lose weight on Monday, but they would like to be thin by Friday.
Sure.
If we could just make, I'll give it 5 days.
Right.
But that's not the way it works. We have to have a new and different mindset, and we want to honor our body. The better you eat, the better you're going to feel. You said that. For some reason, I'm trying to do this, and I'm feeling better.
Right.
Isn't that really a gift that you're giving yourself?
It is, and you feel better even mentally,
Yes.
and physically. But you feel better because you know you're doing something that's right.
Right.
Speaking of the areas of the world that are in the Mediterranean zone, that they're called the Blue Zone, I
Yes,
believe.
yes.
And some of those citizens in that area, they live to be, as you said, up in their-
107, 110,
and they're
103.
relatively healthy at that
Relatively,
age as well.
they take little or no medication. They feel great. They exercise. They walk. They also do something that a lot of families don't do, and that is eat together and talk together and spend a little time. We take, about 45 minutes or an hour to prepare our meal, and then we carry it into the TV room, we sit down and we're watching the news, and we finish that meal in probably 4 minutes.
Exactly, yeah.
And we don't even know what we ate. We don't taste it, we don't enjoy it, but we got to get it cleaned up and out of the way. And it takes approximately 18 to 20 minutes for your body, your stomach, to get the message from your brain that food has been sent. And if you spend a little time eating and just let the clock work a little bit, whatever you have to do, could you possibly do it in a half an hour? And we're always in a rush. We're in a rush to get everything over with. And I just wish the people, the populace, would slow down and enjoy. Like Thanksgiving is coming.
Right.
My goodness, some people are going to be preparing a week ahead.
Sure.
And then, of course, the day before, it's going to be a wild frenzy. And then the day of, oh my goodness. What I want people to do is take the juice out of the bottom of that turkey basting pan and put it in a glass dish, a glass Pyrex dish. And I would like them to put it in the freezer about 45 minutes or an hour before they're going to make the gravy. Making the gravy is about the last thing. Mm-hmm. You know, you've done everything else.
Right.
You've made the stuffing out, you've roasted the turkey, you're 9 or 10 or 14 sides, which are a little over, but that's what people do.
But it's true.
Yeah.
That's right.
And instead of dessert, I mean, there's pumpkin pie goes well, but there's probably going to be about 8 or 9 pies.
Sure.
And they're all different flavors. But anyway, back to my gravy. You put that in the freezer, and all the fat that's in the bottom of that basting pan, all that fat's going to solidify and come to the top. You take it out of the freezer, take a sharp knife and run it around there, and you lift off the fat. Guess where you put it? In the garbage can. What?
You don't put that in the gravy?
No. Then you take the juice and you spoon it into a small saucepan, heat it up, and then you add your thickener, maybe cornstarch, maybe flour a little bit. You could be whole wheat flour, could be white flour. Now, white flour is not part of Mediterranean, but to thicken the gravy, it's okay.
Okay.
And then when you put that gravy boat on the table or wherever I promise you no one is going to say,
"Where's
Mabel,
the fat?
You left the fat out of the gravy." No, she didn't. She made gravy that tastes delicious.
And it's healthier.
And it's healthier. All that fat, where did you put it? By running your knife around the rim of that Pyrex bowl, and you took that fat and put it in the garbage can, it didn't go in your arteries. But the taste of that gravy, because you put it on your mashed potatoes, on your stuffing, on your broccoli, on your peas. A little bit got on the turkey. And the meal is just wonderful.
You're making me hungry.
And that's what I hope people will at least pay attention to. I know that everyone isn't going to alter their ways. No. But if we can begin getting them to think differently, that's a very important first step. People lose weight, but they feel better. And many members tell me, I don't know what it is, but I have more energy. I feel better. I'm sleeping better, because I'm not putting a lot of bad food, bad ingredients in my body.
You're treating your body in a better way, so
Absolutely.
your body's responding in a better way.
Exactly correct.
So that's a good segue into what I want to talk about. You mentioned members. So Weight Watchers is gone.
Yes.
As we knew it. You have another group or another way of helping people,
Yes.
and it's called Fix It With Foods.
Right.
And that's all about the Mediterranean lifestyle.
Right.
But you still do have meetings, you have weigh-ins, and you have
Yes.
material,
And I follow
and you
the
have
Weight Watcher
discussions.
model because that's, I learned that I joined Weight Watchers when I was 24, which was just
A couple of years ago.
I think so. And that model is good because there's a private weigh-in, and I believe people should pay to take care of themselves, because if everything is no charge, then there's no, I guess the term would be no skin in the game.
Or no accountability,
Right,
perhaps.
and no commitment.
Right.
And it's not about getting rich. It's about doing the right thing in terms of commitment and showing up and so forth. And Fix It With Foods, I thought, was the best name for the group, because what we're doing is fix it. And it can be so many things. It can be
Sure.
diabetes, it could be your heart, it could be your blood pressure, it could be so many things.
It could be your mental state.
Absolutely. And we're fixing it with foods the right way and learning about that. And the recipes that we share and some of the knowledge that goes with it is very highly informational. And we want people to learn.
Well, and as you said earlier, it's also learning from the group. It's learning and it's listening and socialization and talking about what, well, I came across this great meal idea, or how about this? Does this work? And it's that bouncing ideas off of one another is also a very, I think, integral
What
part
I don't know,
of
somebody
this.
else does.
Sure.
Or somebody else has an experience of something that could be helpful, and there's no such thing as a bad idea. And when one person shares with another, it's a very enriching experience. Most of the meetings should be led by the other people and not by the leader.
But when you come to a meeting, you're the leader.
Yeah, I am the leader.
And let's talk about when you meet.
Well, right now we are meeting at 706 Central Avenue, and we meet Thursday morning and Saturday morning. I'm thinking that in making a change, I would like to have a Thursday morning meeting and a Thursday late afternoon meeting, but probably at a different location so that it would have more accessibility. But that will be discussed in the next several weeks.
Okay. So when someone comes to the meeting, what do they do?
Well, they sign up.
Okay.
They get weighed in private, and they then stay after the meeting. We have a wonderful meeting. We try to have a good meeting every week that we are together and give out good quality information. And then if you're coming on board for the first time, I want that person to stay with me so I can walk them through the steps of living the Mediterranean lifestyle.
Okay.
And I often encourage the group, if you haven't listened to those guidelines for a month or two, stay with us and let's do a refresher course.
Right.
Because learning and refreshing within your brain and then looking at the way you do things never hurts. It always helps.
Have you had successes with the Fix It with Food like you did with Weight Watchers?
Yes, but not in the same numbers,
Right.
because our Mediterranean group is smaller, and the reason that it's smaller is many people are being led to believe that the weight loss drugs are the answer and that they don't have to alter their eating because there's drugs out there that can do it for you. But I believe that that'll have a reckoning somewhere down the line. And from time to time, our group has gone up to 25 people, and sometimes as low as 4 or 5. But it just depends on what's happening in life.
Sure. At a meeting, do you discuss recipes? And
Sometimes.
And you do have meal planning? I mean,
Yes,
you have books?
We have books for meal planning, and sometimes somebody will do a meal plan, but actually in the books that we give one book that starts everyone off, has a meal plan set up for 28 days.
Wow.
And then at the end of 28 days, you can go back and segment it any way you want, but we need a little bit of hand-holding. What do I have for breakfast? What do I have for lunch? What do I have for supper? And let's not forget
Snacks.
that we encourage snacks. I love snacks.
What's a good snack on the
a
Mediterranean
handful
lifestyle?
and a handful, not the
Not
package.
this-
No,
not this handful?
This is, a
handful.
handful of the nuts of your choice, and you can have that with, I don't know, any kind of beverage, but always not a soda. I'm not talking about a beer or anything like that, but I'm talking about a beverage of your choice, tea, unsweetened tea, or tea that's sweetened with stevia.
Okay.
And you just enjoy that, or maybe coffee or tea. I mean, the way you like to have it. We just need to get away from these diet sodas. And there are several companies that are putting out carbonated beverages
Right.
that have flavors in them, but they're not diet sodas, and they don't have the chemical components that diet soda has. There's some diet sodas out there that people use to clean their commodes.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
or their car engines.
Or their windshields.
So, I mean, why would that particular diet soda be the least bit harmful to your digestive system? I don't know. It doesn't make sense
No,
to me.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
So snacks are part of the program.
Absolutely, and it doesn't have
Fruit.
to just be nuts. Fruits, cheese, hummus. I just discovered a new flavor, hummus, lemon and rosemary. And you can do that with carrots, cucumbers. You can get a whole wheat cracker. And a lot of people say, but I'm not hungry for snacks. Then don't have a snack.
Right.
But if you need one, have it. Honor yourself. Don't always be hungry like you say, if I don't eat soon, I'm going to die. What's the
I'm
point
starving
of
to
that?
death.
Yeah. Well, we have to go a little further than that before you starve to death.
Right.
But to take advantage of the fact that there is plenty of food to eat, and there is a world of wonderful choices.
Oh, it's a bounty. I mean, you know, it's just limitless
Yes.
when you think of what you can eat that is whole, clean, fresh food.
And we ask people to get in at least 2 seafood meals a week, and that can be shrimp, it could be scallops, it could be salmon, it could be tilapia, it could be flounder, halibut, haddock, whatever you like. And some people say, but I don't like fish. So let's find an alternative in that whole world and get it into your body twice a week.
So if someone wants to come to Fix It with Foods or talk to you, how do they get in touch
They show
with
up.
you?
They show up Thursday morning, and they sign up.
What time on Thursday morning?
Well, we start at 9:15. We start talking at 9:45.
Okay.
Or thereabouts. Sometimes we're 9:50, sometimes 9:55, because you know that human element. We have something. We always have something to talk about.
Right.
And then on Saturday morning, our group is very small, but we try to make it warm and personable, and to be able to teach something, even though the group is small.
Okay. Well, I know that you have some other news that you just recently talked about, and we're almost out of time, but the Shape Shop is
Yes.
going to actually be closing.
It is.
And that is the end of an era, but, you know, everything has its time. And I know that that brings some sadness to you and to the community, but
Absolutely.
we just want to wish you the very, very best.
Thank
We
you.
know that Millie Snyder is still going to be doing
gonna-
something in this community.
I will.
And we hate to see the Shape Shop close, but I believe November the 22nd is the
Yes.
last day of operation.
Yes.
But thank you, Millie, for all that you've done for our community. And when I say our community, I mean our state and beyond, because you have really been such a tremendous inspiration for thousands and thousands of people and their families. And we just look forward to having you back on My Community at some point
Thank
to
you.
talk about
I would be honored.
what you're going to be doing in the future. But all the best to you, and thank you for being our guest today on My
Thank you
Community.
from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it.
And thank you for joining My Community, and we look forward to you joining us the next time. Thank you.